Sitting patiently on its launch pad in the Central Asian desert, Soyuz MS-25 is ready once again to begin its journey to the International Space Station, and we're in the final minutes of the countdown. You are looking live at Launch Pad 6, Site 31 at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, where that Soyuz 2.1A booster stands fully fueled once again, ready for launch to send an American astronaut, a Roscosmos cosmonaut, and a spaceflight participant from Belarus into orbit, this time on a 2-day journey to reach their destination, the International Space Station. Good morning from Mission Control in Houston and the International Space Station Flight Control Room here at the Johnson Space Center. Countdown clocks are ticking backward for the launch of the Soyuz MS-25 spacecraft atop its Soyuz booster at 7:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Central Time, 8:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Eastern Time, 5:36 and 10 seconds p.m. Baikonur Time. At the launch site, you can see that the gantry arms are spreading. They'll move into a horizontal position relative to the launch vehicle that was fully fueled several hours ago by launch engineers in Baikonur, a process that was completed without any incident. The launch control team in Baikonur reports all systems are go for launch, with no issues being worked as the countdown enters its final phase. And you're looking inside the descent module of the Soyuz vehicle at NASA astronaut Tracy Dyson, who in just 34 minutes and 20 seconds will begin her third flight into space, joined on this mission to the International Space Station by Roscosmos cosmonaut and Soyuz commander Oleg Novitskiy and spaceflight participant Marina Vasilevskaya of Belarus, the first Belarusian to fly in space. Today, unlike the first launch attempt on Thursday, because of orbital mechanics, results in a 34-orbit 2-day journey to the International Space Station with a launch window of 25 seconds in duration, a launch into a phase angle of 201.8 degrees, a rather wide corridor because of the long phasing required for this Soyuz to reach the International Space Station. Docking is scheduled now on Monday at 10:09 a.m. Central Time, 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time, to the Prichal node module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. In Baikonur, the temperature is 48 degrees Fahrenheit, partly cloudy skies for today's launch attempt. Once the hatches are open between the newly arrived Soyuz and the station on Monday, Dyson, Novitskiy, and Vasilevskaya will be greeted by Station Commander Oleg Novitskiy of Roscosmos and his crewmates, Alexander Grabenkin and Nikolai Chub, and NASA astronauts Laurel O'Hara, Matt Dominic, Mike Barrett, and Jeanette Epps. After 12 days on board, enabling Vasilevskaya to conduct experiments on behalf of Belarus researchers, Novitskiy, Vasilevskaya, and O'Hara will depart in the Soyuz MS-24 spacecraft, the new departure date April 6th, heading for a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan. Dyson will remain on board the station through September, returning home at that time with Kononenko and Chub on Soyuz MS-25. Dyson will have spent 6 months in space on this her third flight into space, while Kononenko and Chub will come home after completing a full year on orbit. We're at the T-minus 32-minute mark in the countdown. Again, all systems are reported go, no issues reported for today's launch attempt. This launch for Dyson to the space station mirrors that of Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexander Grabenkin, who launched to the station as part of the SpaceX Crew 8 Dragon earlier this year, providing a reciprocal crew exchange capability, maintaining safe and continuous space station operations. The initial attempt to launch Soyuz MS-25 on Thursday was scrubbed at the T-minus 20-second mark when the automatic launch sequencer cut off the countdown. The crew was never in any danger as the Soyuz booster was safed, enabling the crew to be extracted from the Soyuz within an hour, after which they returned to their cosmonaut hotel crew quarters to brush up on some final training. Engineers in Baikonur determined that the cause of the scrub was a low voltage rating in the booster's first-stage electrical system. Batteries were changed and retested Friday morning, setting the stage for today's launch attempt.
To operator 5. The service tower has been made horizontal. Copy. Oh. Evacuation into the safe zone was completed for the personnel. Copy.
As you look at the Soyuz MS-25 on the launch pad at Baikonur, approaching the T-minus 30-minute mark. Here in Mission Control in Houston, we're about to do a shift handover from Orbit 1 to Orbit 2. The Orbit 1 team has been on console throughout the course of the overnight hours and just finished supervising the flawless docking of the SpaceX Dragon cargo ship to the Harmony module's Zenith docking port. That occurred less than an hour ago. That cargo Dragon delivering some 3 tons of supplies and science equipment to the International Space Station that will be on board for about a 5-week delivery mission. This live view of the Soyuz MS-25 on the launch pad at Baikonur, again liftoff scheduled for 7:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Central Time, 5:36 and 10 seconds p.m. in Baikonur. Atop that booster, strapped into the seats of the descent module, are NASA's Tracy Dyson, Oleg Novitskiy of Roscosmos, and spaceflight participant Marina Vasilevskaya of Belarus. Novitskiy, as the Soyuz commander, is in the center seat of the Soyuz MS-25. Dyson is seated to his right. You've seen scenes of Dyson from interior cameras. Vasilevskaya is seated to the left of Novitskiy.
To Operator 1. All the preparations have been complete, and the service personnel has been evacuated into...
Once the crew climbed aboard the Soyuz and strapped into their respective seats, there were leak checks that were performed on their Sokol launch and entry suits. Everything has checked out in great shape. And as you can hear from time to time, there is that traditional music being piped up to the crew in the descent module. That is traditional to help them relax in the final stages of a countdown for launch.
Copy. You are go to sign off.
And now this footage that was recorded earlier showing some of the activities again on a partly cloudy day in Baikonur. The launch day began several hours ago as the crew departed their Cosmonaut Hotel crew quarters to traditional farewell music and boarded a bus for the 40-minute ride to the integration and sit-up facility at Building 254 inside the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
Thank you, thank you.
And as you see, a large crowd of well-wishers 2 days after that first launch attempt, still on the scene, greeting the crew and wishing them best wishes as they boarded the bus to head out to their suit-up facility. And as usual, the buses, the prime crew in the first bus, the backup crew in the second bus, left the parking lot outside the Cosmonaut Hotel for this 40-minute journey into the Cosmodrome to the Site 254 suit-up facility. After arriving at the integration building, each crew member underwent final medical exams, suited up in their Soka launch and entry suits, and entered this room, divided from their friends and families and officials by a protective pane of glass to maintain quarantine, and conducted leak checks on their suits one by one. Tracy Dyson was first into the mock-up of the Soyuz seat. There's Novitskiy on the left, Vasilevskaya on the right. Each crew member, one by one, underwent these pressure checks to make sure that their suits were free of any leaks. These leak checks typically take about 20 minutes to complete, as one by one this ensures that the Soka launch and entry suits are airtight and ready to support the launch by the Soyuz MS-25 into orbit. And you see part of the crowd of family members and well-wishers on the other side of that protective pane of glass. As you watch this video that was captured earlier today before the crew headed for the launch pad, the current status, we're at T-minus 23 minutes and counting to the launch of Soyuz MS-25, the crew aboard the descent module of the Soyuz vehicle.
There was a little less we had to do this morning.
Good.
It was good. And the other thing we did, we kind of made our own tradition. You know how we signed the door to our room, and we usually put the date. Well, we put today's date underneath the other date, so so now we have 2 dates.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be it. We're pulling talks. We're going today.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, they kind of thought like we weren't even like 3 minutes of the familiarity, the fact that we're all. We woke up with a pretty good vibe this morning, so yeah, it's good.
Okay, all right.
It's the grass at our home, so it's a very nostalgic song about being in space and into it. So.
Oh yeah, energizing.
Tammy's got a good song too.
What? I'm talking to the mic. I can't hear you.
No, I just said Tammy actually shared a song with us. She sang a song for us.
Oh.
But I don't think we're going to get it out of her right now.
They might have iPods, but I'm kind of hoping that Marina will sing for us. She's got a beautiful voice.
You're going to have to sing too, though, probably.
If she runs out of songs, I'll back her up. She did.
Yeah.
Don't say national anthem, because that was a scary.
I saw your most recent video.
Field? You gonna go the same place?
Just follow Ksenia.
Yeah.
Go wherever she tells us.
Yeah. You're safest that way. How are you doing, Ksenia? You good? Cool. Good. We had hot chocolate this morning, so
I bet that was good.
it was tasty. We hadn't had hot chocolate since
Здравствуйте всем. Спасибо, что
Доченька, ты молодец. Мы тебе видим, что крепишься, настроена на пол.
Tracy Dyson, there you saw exchanging words with her husband,
Absolutely ready. Yes, today
saying we have a good vibe for today.
stay this way.
сесть в корабль.
I'd just like to board the capsule
Командир сказал, прошли боевую тренировку.
and
Самую настоящую.
fly. Our commander
Уже будет всё.
told us that we have already been through a dress rehearsal and everything should be good today.
Спасибо, мама, я слышала. Спасибо большое. Я тоже вас очень
And
люблю.
I love you so very much.
Вы моя большая семья.
You are my large family.
Большое Академии наук Беларуси.
Thank you.
Вы с нами, что вы нас поддерживаете.
Thank you for supporting us.
Очень приятно, правда, ваша поддержка.
It's such a great pleasure to have your support. And it's a great experience.
Конечно, прилететь быстро, это, с одной стороны, хорошо.
Well, on the one hand, it's great to take shorter time to fly to the station, but on the other hand, now we will have more time to adapt to the microgravity and to admire our beautiful planet.
As you know, this is my husband, George.
Hello. You guys are very quiet. I have a question. Do you have anything for April's Fool's Day ready in your pocket? Well, maybe. Everything's been great. All is well. All right, well, see you soon.
Счастливенько.
Goodbye.
How many times have you had a launch delay before, Oleg? Is this your first? Сколько задержка?
Первый раз на перенос.
It's the first time ever that we have our launch rescheduled. Well, I had it many times before, but for us it was the first time. It's okay. Everything is good.
Ken Bowersox, NASA's Associate Administrator for Space Operations, having an opportunity to talk to Oleg Novitskiy, and then Roscosmos, Belarus, and NASA managers talk to the crew.
Did you sleep? How are you feeling? We are rested. Everything is great. And the weather is better today. It's kind of sunny. Right. So everything will be beautiful. Well, you'll take a little longer to get to the ISS, but I think that for those who are first-time flyers, it would be great to admire the Earth. And we wish you all the best. Have a great mission. Be quiet, be strong, and we love you. We will be waiting for you on the ground.
Then, of course, the familiar scene of the crew members leaving that Site 254 integration building. This allows Novitskiy, the Soyuz commander, to report that he and his crewmates were ready to proceed to the launch pad. Final farewells as the crew boarded the bus for the trip out to Launch Site 31, a trip that ultimately took about an hour to complete. And the buses leaving the parking lot of the 254 integration building, that suit-up facility. And the buses arriving at the launch pad with the rocket already fully fueled. The three crew members escorted to the stairs, the stairwell at the base of the Soyuz 2.1A booster. They climbed a few stairs, waved goodbye to well-wishers, and entered the elevator there for the ride to the top of the Soyuz rocket to board their spacecraft, which they've now been aboard for about 2 hours or so. And there is the elevator carrying the three crew members to the access to their Soyuz booster and the access port to which they enter the Soyuz MS-25 spacecraft, which is encapsulated in the upper stage of the Soyuz. And we are back live now with a view of Soyuz 2.1A with the crew on top of that vehicle, as we are now at T-minus 13 minutes and counting. At the time of launch, at 7:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Central Time, 8:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Eastern Time, the International Space Station and its 7 crew members will be flying 262 statute miles over the South Pacific, west of South America. The key milestones on the ascent for the 3 crew members: after liftoff, first stage separation of the liquid-fueled solid rockets will take place at the 1-minute 58-second mark. The launch shroud jettison that encapsulates the actual capsule in which the crew is strapped in will occur at the 2-minute 33-second mark into ascent. At the 4-minute 37-second mark, we'll have second stage shutdown and separation. The third stage engine on the Soyuz booster will then fire for 4 minutes and 9 seconds, with third stage shutdown at the 8-minute 46-second mark, followed 3 seconds later by third stage separation. The automatic command will then be given to deploy the Soyuz spacecraft's solar arrays and navigational antennas, and the chase will be on to reach the International Space Station on Monday, resulting in a docking to the Prichal node module on the Earth-facing side of the station's Russian segment, docking on Monday scheduled at 10:09 a.m. Central Time, 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time. The NASA delegation attending today's launch has actually been in Baikonur since Sunday, a day before this Soyuz booster rolled out to its launch pad. With the NASA delegation is NASA Public Affairs Officer Leah Cheshire, who filed this report a short time ago.
Hi, Rob. We're here at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, standing by for the launch of NASA astronaut Tracy Dyson and the Soyuz MS-25 crew. We are at the viewing site just a couple of miles from the launch pad. This is where we were a couple of nights ago when we were expecting launch on the initial attempt. Of course, there was some surprise when we had a scrub. However, the NASA contingent is still here along with Tracy's family and friends, and we are here to support her, and we're really excited to see her launch tonight. The temperature now is about mid-50s, so a little bit warmer than we saw a couple of days ago, and the crew is currently aboard the Soyuz spacecraft. Now, in the last couple of days, they've been reviewing their 34-orbit rendezvous procedures. Initially, they were expecting a 2-orbit rendezvous, so there are some additional procedures that they needed to look over to make sure they were prepared for this new phasing. So we are here standing by and looking forward to seeing Soyuz take to the skies tonight. With that, I will send it back to you, Rob.
Thank you very much, Leah. We are at T-minus 9 minutes, 27 seconds and counting to the launch of Soyuz MS-25. Two key milestones that will be coming up in the final minute of the countdown. You can see at the bottom of your screen there are two umbilical towers that are buttressed up against the side of the Soyuz booster. The first of those two umbilicals will retract at about the T-minus 30-second mark in the countdown. And then the key moment, the second of those two umbilicals, will retract at about the T-minus 15 seconds mark. That will initiate the automatic launch sequence that will trigger the ignition of the first stage engines. That is what did not occur on Thursday at the T-minus 20-second mark, resulting in that launch abort that we went through. Although the system did exactly what it was designed to do, it safed the vehicle, allowing the crew to be safely extracted less than an hour after the countdown was halted. So we'll keep a close eye on the retraction of those two umbilicals in the final minute of the countdown. We're approaching T-minus 8 minutes and counting. At the T-minus 7-minute mark, pre-launch operations will be complete. The Soyuz booster will be declared ready for launch by the launch conductor at the blockhouse in Baikonur, and all telemetry will have been received from the rocket, indicating that the primary and backup systems are set to support liftoff. As is the case with any launch to the International Space Station, the launch is precisely timed for the moment when the Earth's rotation places the Baikonur Cosmodrome in the plane or corridor of the orbit of the space station, which is inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator. And because today's orbital mechanics requires a 2-day rendezvous instead of a 2-orbit rendezvous, with basically a 3-hour journey from launch to docking, there is a larger corridor for which the Soyuz to enter to begin its chase to catch up to the International Space Station.
Copy.
Kazbeki, this is launch lit. 1 minute
The measurement
readiness.
system is
the
ready.
Control is on board. Everything is according to the schedule, and I will tell you everything about the launch sequence. Copy. We are ready for launch. Everything is nominal on board.
We're now at T-minus 6 minutes, 40 seconds and counting, as you heard through the interpreter. The launch conductor in Baikonur telling the crew that everything is in readiness for launch. Coming up in just a couple of seconds, that launch conductor will insert a launch key in the launch bunker. This is a real key that transitions the launch sequence into the automatic mode for the final 6 minutes of the countdown.
The space vehicle is ready for launch. Copy.
Launch key inserted.
T-minus 5 minutes, 50 seconds and counting. Launch control will soon report that the range at Baikonur is clear and that the Soyuz rocket is ready to begin its journey. The Soyuz 2.1A booster, fueled with kerosene and liquid oxygen, for an 8-minute, 46-second ride to deliver Soyuz MS-25 into its preliminary orbit. Coming up on T-minus 5 minutes, all systems are go for launch.
Purge in progress.
The fuel lines and other elements of the rocket engines currently being purged with nitrogen. This fireproofs those fuel lines by removing excess vapors of fuel and oxidizer. T-minus 4 minutes, 30 seconds and counting. At the T-minus 2 minute 45 second mark, the booster's fuel tanks will be pressurized for flight. T-minus 3 minutes, 45 seconds until launch. Again, everything in readiness to send Tracy Dyson, Oleg Novitskiy, and Marina Vasilevskaya skyward. Tracy Dyson about to embark on her third flight into space. Novitskiy's fourth flight into space. He's already accrued 531 days of spaceflight experience. Vasilevskaya about to begin her first flight into space, the first Belarusian to fly in space.
Draining.
2 minutes, 55 seconds and counting. The fuel tanks being drained of any excess fuel not required for the trip to orbit. The fuel tanks soon will be pressurized for flight to optimize the flow of fuel and to help add structural support to the rocket.
Copy all reports.
Pressurizations initiated.
Pressurization. Pressurization confirmed.
T-minus 2 minutes and counting.
All reports are confirmed and copied.
In the next 20 seconds, the ground propellant feed will be terminated to the Soyuz booster. T-minus 1 minute, 30 seconds and counting. Coming up on the T-minus 1 minute mark, the Soyuz now going on internal power. About 20 seconds away from the retraction of that first umbilical.
vehicle to internal power.
Ground vehicle.
There's the retraction of the first umbilical, T-minus 30 seconds and counting.
All reports have been copied.
Auto sequence initiated.
Launch.
Second umbilical now retracting.
Ignition.
This initiates engine start. We now have engine ignition.
Preliminary.
Turbo pumps and engines up to flight speed, now at full throttle.
Engines to maximum thrust.
We have liftoff. Dyson, Novitskiy, and Vasilevskaya finally underway on a 2-day journey to the International Space Station.
All parameters are nominal.
Good roll, pitch, and yaw program. The Soyuz heading downrange, heading to the northeast from the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
20 seconds into the flight.
All thrusters are performing normally from the blockhouse in Baikonur.
30 seconds.
40 seconds into the flight. All rocket performance is declared nominal at this point.
The vehicle stabilization is performing nominally.
Good vehicle stabilization, good first stage performance.
50 seconds. The pressure in the manifolds is nominal. Everything is good.
Good engine performance.
60 seconds. Pitch, yaw, and roll are nominal.
Should be heading into the regime of maximum dynamic pressure a moment or two from now.
All parameters are of the booster are nominal. Everything is good on board. All is well.
Novitskiy reporting everything is good on board. Good vehicle parameters at the 1-minute 40-second mark into the flight.
Parameters are nominal.
Passing through max Q.
Copy. Pitch, roll, and yaw are nominal.
Good vehicle parameters. And we have first stage set.
So the lateral boosters have separated. We confirm that, and
the Soyuz now at 28 statute miles in altitude, traveling about 3,300 miles an hour downrange from the Baikonur Cosmodrome at the 2-minute 25-second mark into the flight.
140 seconds into the flight. All parameters are nominal. All is good on board.
Good reports up to the crew from the blockhouse in Baikonur as we pass the 2-minute 40-second mark into the flight. This second stage engine will burn for 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Launch shroud jettison has now been confirmed.
170 seconds into the flight, the vehicle stabilization is nominal, and the crew are feeling well. Copy.
This view inside, momentarily inside, saw Novitskiy and Vasilevskaya.
Always good on board.
3.5 minutes into the flight, all reports are nominal from the blockhouse in Baikonur.
Two 220 seconds into the flight. The flight is nominal. All is well on board. Copy, Kazbeki.
Four minutes into the flight. The second stage engine is performing normally. It will shut down at the 4-minute 37-second mark into the flight.
250 seconds.
Yaw, pitch, and roll reported in good shape, good vehicle parameters, good stability.
Параметры системы управления ракетой-носителем в норме. 280. Шел гарантийный натов бака окислителя третьей ступени.
The third stage oxidizer tank has been pressurized.
Second stage has separated.
And we have confirmation of second stage shutdown, third stage engine up and running. 5 minutes, 6 seconds into the flight. The third stage will burn for 4 minutes and 9 seconds in the final phase of the Soyuz MS-25's climb to its preliminary orbit.
The vehicle stabilization is nominal. All is well on board, and the crew are feeling well.
So far, so good at the 5.5 minute mark into the flight. The third stage engine is performing as advertised. About 3 minutes of powered flight remaining. Liftoff occurred on time at 7:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Central Time, 8:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Eastern Time. This third stage engine is providing about 67,000 pounds of thrust during its 4-minute burn to deliver the Soyuz to its preliminary orbit. The reports are all good from Novitskiy, the Soyuz commander in the center seat of the Soyuz descent module. 6 minutes, 35 seconds into the flight. Two minutes of powered flight remaining.
Seconds into the flight, the vehicle stabilization is performing nominally.
Mark 7 minutes into the flight. Good reports continuing to come in from the blockhouse in Baikonur. Once the Soyuz separates from its third stage, control of its journey to the International Space Station will be in the hands of those flight controllers you're seeing in this balcony camera view from the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov outside of Moscow.
Thruster continues to fire.
7 minutes, 30 seconds into the flight.
150 seconds into the flight. The flight is nominal.
1 minute of powered flight remaining. All of the Soyuz boosters' parameters are normal. Good engine performance so far. Eight minutes into the flight. The crew is feeling well on board, and all structural parameters of the vehicle are reported nominal. 30 seconds of powered flight remaining.
.500 into the flight.
8.5 minutes into the flight, the crew being told to prepare for third stage engine shutdown and spacecraft separation that we're standing by.
520 seconds into the flight. All parameters are nominal.
And we have third stage shutdown and third stage separation.
Separation is confirmed.
The command now will be given to deploy the Soyuz solar arrays. That now underway.
Kazbeki, MCC Moscow.
And the solar arrays and navigational antennas have all been deployed. Perfect ride to orbit for Tracy Dyson, Oleg Novitskiy, and Marina Vasilevskaya. The two-day chase to catch up to the International Space Station now underway.
Kazbeki, MCC Moscow. Kazbeki, MCC Moscow. Kazbeki, MCC Moscow. How do you copy? If you can hear me, could you please go to page 35? Kazbeki, MCC Moscow. This is Kazbek. How do you copy? We copy you loud and clear. How do you copy us? I copy you loud and clear. Excellent. So the KDU repress has already deactivated. Yes, that's correct. And archive are open. And have you left the display ascent? Yes, we have. And everything is nominal. Yes, that's right. On Tesla, we have the message 1548, the emergency of sector number 3. What about PS1 LED? No, it is not illuminated.
This is a post-insertion conversation between the interpreter who is relaying information up to Oleg Novitskiy, the Soyuz commander aboard the MS-25.
Oil pressure 79.
All of the Soyuz systems are reported to be in excellent shape following its 8-minute, 46-second climb to orbit atop a Soyuz 2.1A booster, the crew in its preliminary orbit.
And send the command. Copy.
Coming up on this two-day rendezvous will be 2 burns in the next couple of hours called DV1 and DV2. That stands for delta velocity. Those are essentially altitude raise burns that will stair-step an increase in the Soyuz altitude to begin to match that of the International Space Station.
The dynamic mode enabled via Karel command radio link. We confirm.
Once again, 2 days after the launch was scrubbed because of a low voltage reading in the Soyuz booster's first stage, the batteries in the first stage were replaced and retested. The launch was rescheduled for today and went off without a hitch, with liftoff at 7:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Central Time, 8:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Eastern Time. A perfect climb to orbit, no issues during the 3-stage performance of the Soyuz booster as it delivered Tracy Dyson, Oleg Novitskiy, and Marina Vasilevskaya into their preliminary orbit for what today is a 34-orbit 2-day rendezvous to the station, as opposed to what it would have been on Thursday, which would have been a 2-orbit rendezvous. That is simply dictated by Johannes Kepler and his law of orbital mechanics and the position of the International Space Station relative to where the launch site at the Baikonur Cosmodrome was today versus Thursday.
I am ready to report, as you know, data starting with parameter 17, 16.9, number 18, 16.9, 19, 262, number 20, 0, number 21, 2, number 22, 323, number 23, 322, number 24, 13.9, number 25, inaudible 0.3, number 26, 261, propellant 8 inaudible. Copy. Kazbeki MCC Moscow. Go ahead.
Ответил, Казбек, как принимаете меня?
MCC Moscow, Kazbek. Yes. The compass will be completed 15:46. After the compass, could you please monitor the compartments and
The solar arrays and navigational antennas on the Soyuz MS-25 all deployed in perfect fashion, and the first self-test, if you will, a diagnostics test on the core's automated rendezvous system on the Soyuz is being performed, and reports now from the Russian Mission Control Center, which has taken over control of the flight of Soyuz MS-25, indicates that all of these Soyuz systems are in excellent shape.
Kazbeki Moscow? How do you copy? We copy loud and clear, Kazbeki.
While we have watched the launch of Tracy Dyson to the International Space Station along with Oleg Novitskiy and Marina Vasilevskaya, aboard the International Space Station, NASA astronaut Laurel O'Hara is preparing to open the hatch to the Dragon cargo ship, the SpaceX cargo ship, that docked to the International Space Station at 6:19 a.m. Central Time, 7:19 a.m. Eastern Time this morning, delivering some 3 tons of supplies and scientific experiments to the Expedition 70 crew.
If you copy us, the PSR time on page 41, so 16:18, 16:37. Kazbeki, the ascent was nominal. All the structures have deployed. All parameters of the orbit are nominal. You can loosen your shoulder straps, open your visors, and also deactivate the thermal sensors. So we allow you the actions in the box.
As you can hear, with everything operating perfectly on board the Soyuz spacecraft, the crew has been told to loosen their restraint straps in their seats in the descent module, open their helmet visors, and begin to get comfortable as they begin a 2-day journey to the International Space Station.
Do you copy me? This is the flight lead number 19. Yuri Ivanovich is calling Kazbeki. Guys, do you copy me?
This is Mission Control Houston, with the Soyuz MS-25 safely in orbit following its perfect climb to orbit. Now that it launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, all is well, with 3 more crew members headed for the International Space Station. They will arrive at the station on Monday morning, temporarily increasing the station's population for 12 days to 10 crew members on board. That will set the stage for the departure of Novitskiy, Vasilevskaya, and NASA's Laurel O'Hara on April 6th. But before that, docking coverage lies ahead, and we'll be back on NASA television with all of that on Monday morning, with our coverage beginning at 9:15 a.m. Central Time, 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, setting up a docking by the Soyuz to the Prichal node module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station at 11:09 a.m. Eastern, 12:09 p.m., 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time, 10:09 a.m. Central Time. So, the doubleheader for today is complete. A Dragon docked to the station, carrying supplies for the expedition crew, and the launch of 3 new crew members to the International Space Station followed in perfect fashion. Dyson, Novitskiy, and Vasilevskaya on their way to arrive at the station on Monday morning. We'll be back with our coverage on Monday morning, again beginning at 9:15 a.m. Central Time, 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, with rendezvous and docking coverage for Soyuz MS-25. Until then, have a great weekend. We'll sign off for now from Mission Control in Houston.